Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, viewers. Welcome once more to another scene from Requiem for London. Our scene follows the unfortunate Mikey Reed as he sleeps the sleep of death deep within the haven that he has been brought to by his new friend Samuel. In fitful dreams, he sees many things.
Mikey has been dreaming. He's been dreaming about a woman talking to him, a woman summoning him, a bookshop, and a name, Graves. Graves. Kill Graves. These words being repeated to him in his sleep, being drawn there, standing outside, almost as he can feel it, almost as he sees it, and he wakes up, screaming one simple thing: kill Graves, as he looks around to this new place, not the Kentucky Fried Chicken he used to sleep in, of course, happily not his cell. This time, he's in a room, and just as he awakes and gets a hold of his surroundings, that same feeling comes back. The feeling of dread, the feeling of hunger, the feeling of losing control, as not more than 30 seconds has passed, and hunger, it screams inside him like a child without a voice, begins to rummage about, looking for anything, something to eat.
It will not take him long to smell the blood as he frantically looks around this room, this possibly basement of some kind. There are no windows here. There is a door. It appears to be a living space, not very decorated, not with a lot of things. There are some beds. There is a table and some chairs, a few dressers here and there, a lamp. There is a TV, but on a nightstand that is sort of near the end of the door, you will see what appears to be a velvet pillow with a chalice on top of it, and you can smell blood from within it.
It doesn't even take a moment, less than seconds, for Mikey to pounce, to leap like a cat or a dog, hungry for something, as he leaps onto this thing and almost swallows it whole, as some would say, but opens this thing up and drinks the blood, licking his fingers afterward.
After draining that goblet, it clatters to the ground. A voice from behind you will say, "So it is true." As you turn around with that sweet, sweet vitae now filling your systems, you feel this animalistic hunger, this frantic need to consume subside ever so. You're able to regain your faculties at least, and as you turn around, you'll see your old friend Samuel just sort of sitting at one of those chairs by the table, except he looks different. Instead of the hobo you saw before with his unkept beard and his dirty clothes, you now see a well-shaved man with short hair. He's wearing what is obviously the clothes of a priest, and he's sitting very calm and very still as he watches you.
Mikey looks down on the ground, almost ashamed, and he just simply mutters the word, "Oi, fuck off, will ya? Ain't in the mood." It's always like this. Fucking hunger all the time.
Do not feel bad or ashamed. But he does take out his phone and he takes a quick picture of the bed you are sleeping in. As you look at it, you will see, almost in an outline around where you were sleeping, just blood has seeped into the mattress. Perhaps it was the very blood you drank yesterday from your rodent feast.
Mikey being used to this at the moment, more or less. He knows that it was the rodents from yesterday. He knows that the beasts, or whatever is inside him, speaks to him. He just sits down anywhere, or not even. He's not even going to sit down in the chair. He just slumps to the ground against the wall, sighing to himself, being, I don't know, angry, sad, alone, combination of the three, as he watches for, I guess, Father Samuel to do anything, to take the word, to lead him somewhere, to help him, to, I don't know, shit, even death would be kind of nice, he thinks to himself.
Samuel smiles at you and says, I hope you have regained your faculties, though. We are to have guests, very honored guests, tonight. As he gets up and pushes in the chest, he'll turn to you and say, they'll be coming in a few hours' time. Would you like to watch some TV until then? I'm afraid we don't have that many channels. Here at the soup kitchen, we don't have the most resources, but we are able to draw a large herd this way.
Uh, he looks up, Father Samuel, and shakes his head, or, well, he pauses for a moment. But no thanks, but you got a newspaper or the scores from the latest games?
As he smiles and says, I believe so. I'll go check upstairs. We do get the paper regularly. And he will then open the door as he had walked to it and begins to head upstairs. But before he goes, he'll turn back and says, if you do not mind, would you please wait here, though? Is there a lot of people looking out for you, it seems, and we do not fully understand the situation of why God has led you to our doorstep.
Mikey just nods. He ain't in a position to complain or ask anything. He just slumps down to the ground, sighing to himself, asking himself the simple question, what the fuck now? As he waits for the good Father Samuel to return.
As Samuel walks up the stairs, as he exits the basement door and walks into the kitchen area, there are several members of his staff still washing dishes. It is a little bit later in the night, and the dinner rush has subsided, although there are a few people lounging in the dining area and in the rec area of the soup kitchen. He walks over to one of the staff and asks if they have the latest newspaper, and they will point, but they also say that somebody is at the door wishing to speak to him. They knew he was down below helping those in need, they will say, hinting the doorway into the basement where the Revenant is trapped. He will raise an eyebrow. He becomes more worried noticeably as he says, "Who is this guest?" And this employee of his just sort of shrugs and says, "Some person in a suit waiting by the front door." You'll grimace, and then nod and say, "Remain here, I will bring the paper to our guest once I have spoken to this individual," and he will head towards the door. When he gets there, he will find a man in a, I'd say, formal suit and tie. His hair is combed back very slick. But other than that, he does not stand out too much. Most of those who look at him might not even really find him out of place standing in front of the soup kitchen, despite him being so well dressed. In fact, eyes just seem to slip off this individual. The one thing that will be most noted by Samuel is the ring that he has on, one of a golden pyramid. As he approaches, he will not recognize the individual, but he'll say, "Can I help you?"
Good evening. The individual kind of will deliberately flash the ring towards the person in front of him. Says, "Am I welcome to come in, dear brother?"
As he will smile and bow his head and says, "Of course, this is a haven for those who are lost and in need of guidance. Come in, come in," as he'll gesture, even holding the door open for the individual.
The individual will walk in. He will be quite bold, very confident, and he will walk past and be observing the room. He'll be looking at the room, gauging the room, analysing the room. It only takes him a few brief seconds to do this, and then suddenly he'll turn straight back and go, "I hope I'm not intruding on anything. I'm a representative of the Black Hand. We have heard rumour of a particular individual of interest entering this, well, your haven. Would you care to respond to this information, or confirm it if you wished?"
As Samuel will frown at him and says, "Dear brother, this is a sanctuary of our august sect."
Oh, this is... Oh, sorry, Karen.
No, please continue.
He'll interrupt in a sort of, "Oh, no, do not take me wrong. We believe a certain individual about this night is quite dangerous, and we are concerned as to your haven's safety. We do not wish for any harm to come about upon you. This is our concern only."
As he looks a bit taken aback by being interrupted, but he will smile, using the most of his self-control to say, "I thank you, dear brother, but you need not worry about us. Like I said before, this is a sanctuary to those who are lost and seeking guidance. We are not holding anyone dangerous here, and if we would, of course, alert our well-respected brother, as it were."
Would this be a contested role? To see if he
Yes,
could...
it would.
Okay.
April, would you please give me... let's see here, that's going to be...
I'm going to say he doesn't have a lot of dice, but he'll have a few.
Just 5 dice for Father
Yeah.
Samuel.
I'm going to say 5 dice for this individual as well. We'll leave it to chance.
First is Samuel.
And Samuel.
Ooh.
That's going to
2 successes.
Oh, there's a reason why he's the Archon.
There is 3.
Oh. 3 successes.
3 and 3?
Defender wins, so...
Oh, so in that case, you get the feeling, you can tell that there's a hint that he... Of course, he is showing all due respect to another member of the clan, but he is not happy at all to have you there, but you cannot detect if he is lying at all.
So he will, not sensing any kind of deception, he will be sort of, well, I will hope you do not mind me giving your haven a quick look over, just to ensure that there are no possible hidden threats to your haven or sanctum, if you wish this. Otherwise, I'm quite happy to leave.
As he will frown a bit and say, I was expecting guests. I would not want to have you potentially ruin a meeting that we had going. No offense, of course, but after all, it would be, as he gets a little bit fumbly now, but it's about at this time, before he could sort of blow the lid off this whole operation, that the door will open. And an individual walks in, very tall, in priestly robes. But before anyone can look around, both Samuel and this individual can just feel almost a tangible growl. Another predator has entered the room, a very, very old predator. As Samuel sees this individual, he will immediately turn around and go, Good father, I wasn't expecting you here so soon. Please do not mind me. Brother, this is, as he would go to introduce the individual just arrived.
OCC, would this individual know who this person is?
Yes, he would be well informed enough to recognize this individual. It would be
Okay.
Father Manus, the priest of the parish of Bones, one of the anointed of the sanctified.
Yeah, instantly this individual feels suddenly a bit on edge. He feels, oh, okay, I may have accidentally stepped into something not my place, or I should not be here. And he'll turn and bow and go, my father, I apologise for my presence. I'm performing my nightly tasks. I hope I have not offended by entering a haven that you have visited.
A quick question. Is Father McManus with the bishop, or is he alone?
Oh, he's with the bishop, but the bishop is currently obfuscated, so the hound can give a...
Oh, yeah, okay. It'll be contested.
Yes.
So
Clash
this...
wills,
Yeah, so it's blood potency plus the discipline rating. So I'm assuming this guy would have... I'm going to say he's got 1 and plus 2. So...
Let me pull up the bishop real fast.
So if he's completely visible, it'll be either 3... And then, yeah, he's got more dice, but we'll just see if...
So that's 2 successes there.
And it's discipline plus...
Blood potency.
That's going to be... It's going to be 5 for the bishop.
Okay. This individual, I'm just going to say he's got probably all specs to...
1 success.
So was it 1 and 1?
No, it was 1 and 3.
Oh, crap. In that case, the hound's eyes will suddenly be drawn to the individual standing next to Father Manus, and he will immediately recognize not only the royal archivist of the city, but also the bishop of the sanctified.
I describe it as the hound is speaking to the father and apologising for his intrusion and hoping he did not. Then suddenly he will spot the bishop in the background and just go. I guess he would do a it's obvious. I'm just going to say he's obviously surprised. He's not too good at hiding that. So he's just going, I believe my presence is not needed here. Apologises for my quickness to leave. I have other duties. We have a dangerous creature out and about. I bid you a good night.
Father Manus will not even acknowledge the hound, and he will simply look at Father Samuel, and almost, you can feel palpably, that although this guy is in the garb of a priest, someone who has dedicated his life to helping others, he's like a hurricane dropping on the soup kitchen, and he fixes his eyes on Father Samuel, and he says almost through gritted teeth, "Is this a bad time?"
As Samuel will be like, "No, not at all," as he will then just bow very deeply and say, "Right this way." And then he will proceed to lead what he only believes is the one, but is really the two, to their friend.
Instantly, the hound will step aside as these two, this one figure walks past, and he'll do his best to do a kind of a grin, a smile, a very fake, obvious smile of, I thank you, and he'll leave quite suddenly, and instantly he'll get his phone out, his cell phone out, and start. You'll see the light sort of light up his face, and as he's sending a message, and then quickly leaves the establishment and crosses the street.
From beside Father Manus, as these two are following Samuel to the basement, he and only he will hear, "Quite an interesting night we're having, old friend."
Father Manus will nod, and he scans the area, making sure that there are no further threats or surprises as they descend into the basement.
It's funnily enough, as Samuel goes by, all of the staff never makes eye contact with Manus. They all keep their heads bowed, just keeping to what they're doing, not even acknowledging that he's there, although all of them can sort of feel that a hurricane has just walked through here, and that if acknowledging it would bring down that wrath upon them, that destruction, that unrelenting force, as it were. But meanwhile, in the basement, the door will open, and Mickey Reed will hear footsteps coming down the stairs.
Mickey, at this point, getting annoyed. He's been waiting for a while now. He really needs those scores. He had money on one of those matches, and if not, he wanted to take pint with his friends. He sees, or well, hears people coming down the stairs. He kind of perks up a bit, if not too. Well, soon he will see the results of the Spurs against Manchester and whatever they're else playing.
He might be a little disappointed at first when Samuel walks back down, not holding a newspaper, but as he stands to the side of the door and another figure walks down, and the same feeling, that same almost electricity in the air will begin to fill the room, as he will say, "Mickey Reed, may I present Father Manus, an anointed priest of my church," as he seems to have completely forgotten about the newspaper.
Mickey kind of stands up, begins to back away, from his wall, further along, back into a corner, and kind of says, "You are fucking sure that Holy fuck, shite. Who the fuck is that guy? He scares me. Shite. Just please don't fucking hurt me.
Father Manus, as he descends the stairs, I mean, you can hear the boom, boom, boom. You know, he's not someone who is accustomed to hiding. When Father Manus is on you, you'll hear him before you see him. He looks over Mickey as he enters the basement, and he smiles as he sees the obvious panic in this young man's face, where what used to be a young man obviously is not. His eyes dart to the blood-soaked mattress and then back to Mickey. And he takes a kind of long sniff, which is kind of disconcerting when you see a man kind of in the garb of the cloth, just going to go. And when he does that, he looks to Father Samuel, and he says very quietly but very forcefully, "And you think this one is worthy?"
As he will bow his head and says, "The signs point that he was chosen by God, not by us kindred." As while this is happening, unseen by Samuel and unseen by Mickey, Bishop Langley slowly walks over to the bed, and with one finger he'll just run it along that blood-stained outline of Mickey and just taste it and mull it over. You'll look at the stains and then look at Mickey and then back to Father Manus, and he will nod.
Father Manus will look to the bishop and then look back to Mickey. And he will lean back against the wall and cross his arms, kind of like this is the one person in the room who has absolutely nothing to worry about from anybody else in the room. And he will say, "What's the last thing you remember, boy?"
Fuck, the last thing I remember that. And he smirks as he's about to crack a joke, but remembers who the fuck is in the room as he just, that was you walking. So I pulled this girl out, this fucking worldly, like, cool, sweet tits, round ass, but pale as fucking fucking milk and black eyes, and I woke up in a fucking cage.
As Mickey regales the party of his sordid last evening as a breathing person, you may expect a priest to get irate or scold him, but instead you kind of see this predator crack a genuine smile, and he kind of goes and he turns to Father Samuel and says, "You have bigger problems than this one here. You agree?"
As Samuel was looking down the entire time, once addressed by the father, will look at him and nod his head. And he will say, "I found him seeking counsel at St. Paul's. He was being pursued by the hound who visited earlier, and it seems that several kind law enforcement officers."
He nods as he listens to Father Samuel recount. He knows that Father Samuel has never lied to him, otherwise he wouldn't be standing here. He turns to the bishop and says, "Your thoughts?"
1 second, what was that, David?
Just to describe, Mickey, as you're recalling the last moments of your mortal life, as you're trying to remember those very vague and foggy memories, and again, you always have this pulse in the back of your mind, a pull to somewhere, but the more you think on your memories of those last mortal moments of your life, and the caged horrors that you had to bear, this pull gets stronger. This pull gets louder. This pull gets brighter. Your thoughts get more muddled. The more you think of it, the more it confuses you, the more it overwhelms you, and the room slightly gets more foggier, a bit darker, and a bit more vague.
Mickey begins to shake his head, kind of as if in denial as these people are talking. He's oh fuck, and as he goes, to this the brick wall, as he screams at the top of his lungs, "Get out of me head, you stupid cunt!" as he smashes his head into the wall.
With a resounding boom, like it startles Father Samuel, but not the bishop or Manus. Although at this point Samuel will realize the bishop is in the room, for he is no longer obfuscated, and will, truly in earnest, just sort of collapse on all knees and just bow his head, not rising. Mickey doesn't even notice as more gentle footfalls approach him, and he will hear a very raspy voice and the faint smell of sulfur. "You have been having dreams, have you not?"
Oh, fuck. She's seen my head. Ah, can't get her out. Fucking need to kill Graves or something like that. Maybe she'll shut the fuck up then.
Very interesting, would you not agree, Father Manus? Embraced by a black-eyed woman, giving orders to kill an individual named Graves.
Father Manus simply watches this young revenant squirm, and as the bishop is kind of whispering in his ear, and he will look to the bishop and say, "Well, surely the Lord works in mysterious ways. We must decide what to do with this young man. Obviously, he cannot remain in this state."
As these two figures are discussing and talking, Mickey, as you're on your knees, or you're clenching your head or your face, suddenly. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no! Describe what your character's currently doing. Actually,
Yeah. He's more or less, he started with the big smash against the wall with his head, but it's kind of, almost as if he's trying to beat this thoughts out of his head. Not hard, but with a clap, kind of beating his head against this wall.
Now, as you're beating your head to this wall, suddenly a white pair of hands kind of come around your torso and hold you and embrace you, and you hear a whispering in your ear going, "Shh, shh." And these hands are caressing your chest and your torso, and they reach lower into your inner thigh, and they seem to grope and somewhat in a claustrophobic manner hold you as a jealous lover would.
Mickey is beginning to... He stops right in his track. He's just standing there looking at the wall, and slowly going down, and like as if he's trying to get someone off himself, kind of wriggling about.
It's at that point that the bishop will walk up to Mickey Reed in earnest. Again, those soft footfalls, that raspy voice, and since he is very knowledgeable in occult and begins to realize what is going on here, see real fast though to make sure that this is the proper thing. I believe he is going to lash out.
Okay. So why are you lashing out? Or is it to try to?
It's to break whatever sympathetic pull that his sire or whatever created him has over him.
I would
Basically, by asserting his beast is the dominant, then Mickey would listen to him.
I would say you would need to beat the blood sympathy in successes, which is 5.
All right, let's see.
Because you a very strong pull beyond the curse, beyond discipline. It's a call of the raw, of the primitive.
This is going to be... Yeah, I think he's going to try it, because it's going to be presence plus blood potency, right? So
Yeah.
He's going to try using the seductive beast, which is going to be even creepier since this is a Nosferatu doing this.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Would this be critical failure if he? Oh, I don't. No. I don't think it is. Don't.
So he is going to walk over and he's going to put a hand on Mickey Reed's shoulder. And Mickey will feel this hand, and as he turns, he will see, like, the face of the bishop, this withered, like, almost papery-skinned individual with a breath of almost smoke and brimstone donned in these priest's robes. But the bishop will speak, and speak with such authority, with such certainty, without any doubt or remorse, with such conviction, that it will almost be enticing. It'll be a sort of rock in this storm that Mickey finds himself in. Almost a lighthouse guiding him as he orates. And we'll do the lashing out roll. That's 7 dice for the bishop.
It's got to be exceptional. I don't know. It's 5 dice you need.
Rolling. Blam, 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 blam.
Oh!
Blam!
More.
Does it? He does it. Wow.
As he will say, "My child, do not fall to the temptations of the whore that has brought you into this night. It is easy for our kind to fall to sin, but we are chosen in our damnation, and so it is our duty to master sin, not be slaves to it." And his words just fill you with this confidence. This is somebody who knows what he's talking about. And he will say, Tell us what is ailing you. Share with us, so that we may help guide you in this night."
To describe, Mickey, what you're suddenly feeling, you had this overwhelming claustrophobic sensation that you're being drawn to something, you're being controlled, but then suddenly, as the bishop speaks to you, his words ease your mind, his words soften, and the pull stops, the pull kind of relaxes, the hands grabbing your torso loosen and sort of disappear, and you feel that you are still in a state of illusion, but you have more control. You feel that you can pull against it, you can pull the thing or the entity that's trying to control you to you instead.
Shite. Look. She... And Mickey, looks down, looking embarrassed. She's trying to touch me wiener. Trying to get me old dog to be barking and stuff like that, and she wants me to get her and help her and become whole.
If you gave me, I'm going to say, resolve, and do they have any blood potency? Or? Oh, it really no. Actually,
No.
sorry. I'm going to describe it because it's your blood sympathy. So actually, yes, this would be your blood sympathy roll, which is 5 dice
Okay.
to attune to what the individual wants from you, because it goes both ways.
1 success.
Okay, as you for a moment of clarity, because of the bishop, you manage to clear your senses, and you manage to kind of pierce the veil, and you see what this creature wants from you, what this entity wants from you. And suddenly you see images emerge from like fog. You see the brickwork of the area around you merge, and a kind of a artistic portrait or painting emerges around the walls that you're in. And you see 2 figures. You see these 2 figures in like a garden of Eden, a sort of Adam and Eve kind of feel. And you see one of these figures with dark black eyes and appears female, while the other one appears more bestial-like. Again, these images are very vague. But then you suddenly see the bestial image burn. You see it suddenly destroyed by lesser images, by weaker images. And you see the creature with black eyes sobbing, and a great sense of remorse and hatred and revenge build up behind her. And this is the purpose she wants for you. You feel this is the reason she wants you to do something, to achieve something.
He looks up. I think she wants me to torch someone.
Any idea of who that individual is?
I've just been hearing the fucking name Graves in my sleep.
Very interesting.
Very quickly, Father Manus will turn to Father Samuel and say, "Who is this Graves?" That's the second time he said his name.
As Samuel will look up and just sort of shake his head, as he does not know of any Graves, but the bishop will say, "I know of one who goes by the name of Graves," as he will smile with this yellowish teeth, very crooked. He is a local dragon who has territory in an occult bookshop called Treadwell's.
Mikey will go, "Fucking dragon? I can't torch a fucking dragon."
Do not fear, these Cretans call themselves dragons, but it is well, like I said, it's very easy for our kind to become seduced by sin and pride, as he'll look to Father Manus and then smile and say, "Is no exception. These kindred are very prideful indeed."
Father Manus nods and kind of waves his hands and says, "Let the cockroaches hunt the insects in this town. I don't really care." And he will kind of lean down and look at Mikey and say, "And he descended into hell, and on the 3rd day he arose again in fulfillment of the scriptures. It is time for this young man to rise."
The bishop smiles, this horrible smile, and says, "I could not agree more. But you will not be alone. If you allow us, we will help you pay a visit to your creator. For she, too, has, let us say that she may have brought you into this world, but it is God who imbued you with this chance to seek vindication.
And justice.
Yes, justice.
I'm going to say, as soon as you hear those words of justice, words of revenge, words of guilty parties, of punishment, you suddenly feel invigorated, you feel powerful, you feel something is supporting you. And suddenly, again, you're still in this kind of a lucid state, but you'll just see this figure emerge behind the father and the bishop, and it is this naked female that you have seen before, and she seems to be just playing with them, groping them and touching them and caressing them, and then as she performs quite a few various physical implications on the bishop, she then slides and moves on to the priest, both of them just looking at you with, again, a very highly holy, justified feel. And she doesn't say anything, but she gives this sense of yes, yes, justice, penance, guilt. And she's just constantly staring at you with these black eyes as she's groping up these two holy individuals.
Mikey's gonna smirk and hold back laughter. This is all too fucking funny for him. As he's looking, and everyone would see Mikey following this thing's hands as they're going over these people. Yeah, I think she's with you.
Bishop will look confused, but then just sort of shake his head, not quite getting what he's referencing, and say, "But the choice is yours, child. If you want to escape this endless hunger, you must give form. You must accept the curse that has been placed upon you, and to do that, you must rise. So, this is your chance to choose. And choose you must, or else the hunger will never end. The sleep will drain you of life, and the voice will remain formless and unfulfilled for all of time."
And he looks at everyone. Choose what exactly?
As you will smile and you will say, "Why, child, what monster you'll become." And on that cryptic note, we will end our scene. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful evening.